Hey everyone, Michael here with Conquest Overland, and today I want to talk to you about ICECO's newest fridge, the APL 55. This is their newest option in their lineup, and it is loaded with all kinds of new updates and innovative features. Though as the name implies, this is a 55 liter or 58 quart size option. It comes in two colors, the shiny black or the gloss black that you see here, as well as a newly released silver option. It has dual zone capabilities, which we'll get in more to later, and currently retails at $859 US. So if you use my code Conquest Overland right at checkout, you'll save yourself 12% or roughly $100, which also helps me in return to keep making videos like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into some of the details. Now, going over some of the specs of the ICECO APL 55, this fridge has a length of 28.7 inches, a width of 18.7 inches, and a height of 18.9 inches. The weight is just shy of about 55 pounds. Now for me, that's a little heavier than I'd like. It does take a little bit more to kind of wrestle around and whatnot. I think ICECO does have some justification behind that because the walls are much more insulated, which has added, I bet, some weight. And even just the overall exterior construction maybe justifies that too, with the more robust bumper guards and whatnot. And even just the size of the fridge. So just do note that before you put any contents, that'll be your base weight, and of course it'll only get heavier as you kind of add more to it. Though, like I mentioned before, this fridge is a true dual zone, and it has that capability. But what's unique, it does it within a single lid fashion. And what I mean by that is other fridges usually carry a two lid option, one being a freezer side and the other being a fridge. Now this has a single lid that opens right at the front once you undo some of these latches here, which are new and way more developed, which we'll get into. But you open it up from the front here, and that exposes the interior contents. And inside, you'll find two baskets that allow for greater organization, as well as an interior wall or barrier that separates the two zones. So one can be set for a fridge, and the other side can be set for a freezer, or vice versa. Now, depending on your needs and uses, I find that super helpful. For longer trips, you can put one side as your freezer and put maybe food or whatnot that you're going to use later on, and then keep the other side as your fridge for more immediate needs. Though with that barrier in there, the fridge will recognize that it's going to work in a dual zone capability. The moment you remove that, your display unit will only show a single temperature or zone option, which I find pretty unique. It's smart enough to recognize when that wall is in there. Though of course on the inside you do still have your interior light for easy navigation of finding whatever contents, and then of course your drain plug for those needs as well. So the magic behind the scenes is in the ICECO compressor that ICECO is using. They've used this in other models in the past, and it is very efficient, but also very quiet. This compressor, they're claiming, runs at less than 38 decibels, which for me is almost inaudible. This fridge lives full time in the back of the Jeep. So while we're driving or at camp or whatnot, you really can't hear it at all when it kicks on for its cycles. And it's also very efficient. This particular fridge has two different modes, at Eco and Max, as far as its cooling capabilities. The difference really is how often it kicks on as far as the compressor, and then how fast it gets down to temp, which of course draws more power. As far as that goes, in Eco mode, I've averaged about 40 watt hours when in that fashion, or in Max mode, it's about 70 watt hours. And for me, I usually plug it right into a portable power station such as Blue Eddy that I've used in the past, or I just plug it right into the 12 volt in the back of the Jeep. So both are great options, but really I've used this on weekend warrior trips with only a power station and using the power station for other units, and I've not even needed to recharge it. So that's really great to know that I can use all my electronics with a fridge, drawing so much use and needs and whatnot, and having this efficiency of this compressor is fantastic. I will say, as far as some other updates interior wise, is going to be the insulation. When you open up the lid, you'll see from the exterior side to the interior storage that there's about several inches of insulation and thickness in there. And on the side, you'll see that it's kind of in a step down fashion, which works in harmony really well with the rubber seal on the lid itself, knowing that when you close the lid, it's going to work fantastic on keeping no air intrusion and locking in your desired temps inside the fridge with no issue whatsoever. What I also love about the lid itself is the soft close feature. So I can just simply let it go and it'll naturally fall down ever so slowly, which is awesome. I love that so much. In the past, I've had other fridges where I've always had to prop open the lid itself while I'm grabbing whatever out of it. Or if you're like me, you get overexcited about the snacks that you're trying to get and you lose hold of that said lid and it smacks you in the head or crushes your fingers. So gone are those days. So it's really nice to have a soft closing lid. And that's just the beginning features here. Even closing the lid, they've upgraded the buckle systems. It now works on a really nice kind of clamp down model where not only do you feel, but also an auditory response of knowing that it's solid. So just going over, it sits into this little recessed part and then it locks right into place, and same on the other side. So that for me just provides that confidence that knowing this lid is locked in, nothing's gonna spill out or whatnot, but also keeps any air intrusion basically non-existent. So while we're on the exterior, the next feature that I want to show is ICECO's upgraded display unit, which is right here on the front side. On the left, you'll have a really nice visual medium as far as all the information and feedback and where it showcases navigating through different menu options. This is really nice, really bright and easy to read, which I love. Next is going to be on the right hand side, 6 different button options. The first is a max and eco mode, which you can choose, like I mentioned before. That's basically how efficient the compressor is going to work and how fast you want things to cool down. Next to that is going to be a light option, which is going to be right here, but it has 3 different modes. You press it once, it's going to be a nice white light, which is great for just general scene light or prepping for food or as you open and close the lid and whatnot. So it's really nice touch. The next option, as you press it once more, it's going to cycle between a white and blue light, which is kind of cool. I personally don't use it. It's nice maybe to impress your friends or family because you have a cooler fridge than they do, but it's a nice little feature nonetheless. Press it once more and then it simply turns off. So definitely nice to have an exterior light on the outside of the fridge and of course the interior light once you open the lid up. Next to that is going to be the settings button, which of course allows you to change any of the sub menus and settings of how you want to control the temperatures and all that good stuff. Next to that is going to be plus or minus buttons, of course setting the desired temperature, and then your power on and off button, which is in red. So really nice and easy to read and navigate menu options here. As far as the other exterior features go, I really have to give kudos to ICECO on the upgraded and more beefy corner guards here. Of course, however you mount your fridge, whether it's going to be banging about because you're going on hardcore off-road trails or whatnot, these are going to help protect the unit itself and just accidental hits as you might be carrying it around, which is really great. But what I also love is within the corner guards, you have a pass-through which allows for a tie-down point or a leash point for securing your fridge. So whether it's in your vehicle, on a fridge slide, or on a drawer system, or whatever it might be, you have these on all 4 corners to help secure down your fridge while it's in your vehicle, which I find super nice and really nice touch as far as just having that ability to do that. Before I used to go through the handle as a secure point, so now you can also go through the corners, which is super cool. As far as the handle goes, it's going to be your standard handle that offers a really nice fit and feel, very robust and secure feeling. And if you want, you can also remove them if you want to save some of the dimensions as far as the length goes. Continue on the outside, we have all our power port options. So on the front facing where the display unit is, we have our DC, AC, and USB, which is super cool. So depending on your application, if you're going to be using it at home with the AC or out camping with the DC, or if you just want to charge your electronic devices such as your phones and whatnot, you have that USB capability right on the front. Now on the back, which is also I absolutely love having dual options, is you're going to find a DC option as well as the USB options. This is super nice to have because usually what I do is I'll put the power cable on the rear of the fridge, so then that way it plugs into my power station or directly into the vehicle, leaving the front ones alone depending on how I want to use it. And the reason being is it hides the cables and whatnot while it's in use, and of course the front is going to be where it's facing out away from the Jeep. But it's really nice to have that capability. I know some fridges that I've used in the past only have a capability of plugging in from one side, and then you have to deal with cables kind of wrapping around or whatnot, and it just kind of makes it messy and visually not as clean looking. So that's really nice. As far as the exterior also goes, we have multiple vent ports that you can see. ICECO does claim that these are nice and weatherproof. So if you are mounting your fridge in an exterior fashion like I have in the past in the bed of the open bed of a truck, do know that it can handle the elements pretty darn well, whether it's dust, rain, snow, mud. I ran mine in that fashion for a while and it worked time and time again. So do know that with the vent ports and whatnot, you can do that with a peace of mind. And then as far as everything else goes, just the overall sound and construction of this fridge really showcases that ICECO went above and beyond on innovating and showcasing all the great new features of what they had in their product line before to what they currently carry now. And it really reflects that in a very competitively priced unit. So in closing, just going over some of the final details, ICECO offers a 5-year warranty on the ICECO compressor, which is really nice. It's a nice long time to really use and abuse the fridge depending on your application and know that you have that warranty as a nice little insurance. As far as all the other parts go, there's a 1-year warranty on those for any manufacturer defects and whatnot. As far as pros and cons go, a couple cons to start with would be just this, maybe this particular color of the gloss or shine black. I put a lot of gear around this and slide things on and off on the top lid, and it really shows a lot of those scuffs from a visual cosmetic stance. For me, I don't really mind or care because of the application of use. Though if you're somebody who wants to keep a nice pristine unit or for whatever reason or to resell it later on or whatnot, that might be something to be mindful of and might be an option to choose the silver finish to help with that. The second con I would say would just be the overall weight. 55 pounds with nothing in it, that's a little heavy for me, and it only gets heavier once you put your actual groceries in it. So once this thing is fully loaded, it usually stays inside the Jeep and I don't really take it out until we get back home. One, I don't really have a need to move the fridge about while we're at camp, and two, it just is too darn heavy to move. So that might be something to think about if that's going to be a make or break for you. For me, it's not really an issue because the fridge usually just lives inside the vehicle during our entire trip. As far as a pro, it's going to be contrary to the weight issue. ICECO really hit it out of the park with all the general updated features and construction of this fridge. The upgraded beefy corner guards, the overall, how insulated it is and how just well it can hold temperature, and of course the super efficient compressor that's inside working behind the scenes. So ICECO really hit it out of the park with this one as far as all the updates and features and benefits that really make this unit competitive against everybody else out there at a really strong relative price point. So I think ICECO really did well listening to their audience and putting all that feedback and innovation into this brand new APL 55 unit. Of course, if you want to find out more information, definitely head on over to ICECO and definitely check out the link and discount code in the description below to find out more. Using that discount code again will save you about $100 and also helps me in return to keep making videos such as this. So with that, guys, I sincerely appreciate all your support. It truly means a lot. And until next time, safe travels.